This is my ECNL Las Vegas experience. Started my morning and made some breakfast. It was going to be a full day of traveling, so I made sure to feel right. For breakfast, we got 4 eggs, 3 pieces of sourdough toast, and 2 with jelly and 1 with honey drizzled on it. And we're just have some water, energy drink, and then a little bit too many pills. It just makes me feel better overall when I take them. And then creatine. So if I have a banana or something too. So after I ate, I headed off to the airport at around 9:45. I had a 2.5 hour drive to the airport because that's where my team is flying out of, and I did some schoolwork on the way up. Once we made it through security and everything, we had around a 2-hour wait until we boarded the plane. First flight was to Phoenix, around a 3-hour flight, where we had a layover, and then we were going to fly to Vegas. I got some Panda Express as an early dinner, and then we had a flight to Vegas, which was around an 1.5-hour flight. Waited in a very long line to get to the shuttle to get to the rental car place. And after a full day, we finally made it to the hotel around 9 o'clock and had some Domino's. Made it up to the room, pretty simple hotel room, but ended up showering and then went to bed. Around 10:30 or so. Next morning, brushed my teeth and showered, and then came downstairs for some breakfast. Had a bagel with peanut butter and some toast and jelly. Went outside with the team and enjoyed the nice view we had outside our hotel room. Did a little bit of foam rolling in the gym. After the gym, we went on a team walk. Just walked around the hotel. We were pretty far from the complex, so we were way out there, so that's why we have such nice views, which is probably better than being in the city. Stopped at a gas station, got some energy drinks for the week, and then we had until 4:30, so we wasted some time in the gym. I did some schoolwork online, and then we ended up climbing a mountain behind our hotel, which you can see right there. We ended up seeing some bighorn sheep, which was pretty cool. Had some lunch around 12:20, and then we did a little FIFA tournament, which I did not participate in because I'm not very good, but ended up just watching. And then around 2, we headed off to the fields. Last year we played on some very bad fields. This year they're so much better. But our first game was versus Eugene Metro. We are the white kits in light blue, and this is probably a record for our team, but that is kickoff right there. Cal receives the ball, plays it over top. Their center back's asleep. I run past him, drive down the line, play it across, and he taps it in. We literally scored first 13 seconds in the game, which was sick. We got one other goal that half, ended up going 2-0 into halftime. It was a beautiful nutmeg from E. Bryce plays him through. E cuts in here, and then back heels it back to Bryce. Plays it across. I receive on my left foot and play it and take a touch and then finish with my right. We go up 3-0. This game we were missing our center back to the selection game and then our goalie the second half. And this is where it goes downhill. Right after that, they just take a touch in, pass it in the corner, and our center back is playing goalie, so they score 3-1. They end up tying 3-3. We score 4-3. They score again 4-4. And then here's E takes up the penalty, and we go up 5-4 in the last minute. We end up winning, but it was a rough performance from the boys, but we got the W. And then we headed off to the selection game where we saw our goalie and our center back in the game, which was awesome. First time from anyone from our team has been in the selection game, which was super cool. We had some Chick-fil-A while at the game. And then got back to the hotel, and I showered up and then went to bed around 10:30 once again. Next morning, showered, brushed my teeth again, and then headed down for breakfast again. Had a bagel, peanut butter, cinnamon roll, toast, and an omelet. And then also before every game, I've had an energy drink and some electrolytes. But around 8:45, we headed off to the fields. quite unfortunate. They didn't have any of their players. They had mostly 2010s. But in this first play here, E gets the ball, plays it to me. I set it to JMO. JMO shoots, and then it kind of deflects off the defender. I take it and have an absolute beauty of a finish with my left foot in the top left corner. This kind of shows you how not good they were. Van has the ball here, plays it through to JC. JC has tons of time and space, just jogging, and then plays it to Jack here. Jack has time and space, plays it to me here. I have a guy on my back, play it through, and then play it to E. E takes his time, cuts in, and has a shot. Doesn't end up scoring, but that's how the whole game went. We ended up winning 6-0. And then after the game, we went to In-N-Out and had some lunch. I also DoorDashed some Chipotle because that did not fill me up. But then we had about an hour to chill. JMO took a nap, and then we headed off to the strip. We ended up walking around for around 3 hours, but here's some videos of the things we saw. Once we got back to the hotel, we had some Olive Garden, and then we were watching the UFC fights, and we ended up getting everyone in me and JMO's room, and we watched the fights, which was really good. Went to bed at 10:30 again, and then the next morning, woke up around 7:30, had some breakfast, same thing from the past 2 days, and then we headed off to the fields. This game was at a different complex, but still pretty good fields. We played FC Pride from Indiana, but in this clip here, Diego drives down the line. It's kind of hard to see, but he plays me across, and I kind of shoot off the goalie here, and then it deflects off, and it lands back to me, and I just chip it kind of with my left foot. We end up going up 1-0 in the first half. Really nothing else happened that game, but for me individually, here's something I can work on. I received the ball here from X, right there. And I do really well to use my body and keep the ball kind of split two defenders, but then I end up playing a ball right to their center back, trying to play Kylan through. So there's something I can work on, is just being better at executing the final product of a play. But we ended up winning 1-0 that game. Should have been more, but overall got the W, went 3-0 on the weekend. But after the game, went to Chipotle, chilled around for a little bit at the Chipotle, and then headed off to the airport. So our flight ended up getting delayed, and then we got canceled. So long story short, basically everyone had to drive back. But I ended up catching a flight because there's only 1 or 2 spots left on the plane. I was able to catch that flight the next morning at 6 a.m. So I ended up staying right next to my other coach that was staying another night. And this is the hotel room I was staying at, which was super cool. It was right on the strip, and you'll see the view right here. But the boys that did team travel had to do around 20-hour drive, and they got back at 2 a.m. But ended up walking around the strip with my 2 other teammates that stayed the night to catch a flight the next morning. But had an early morning, woke up at 4 a.m. because I had a 6 a.m. flight to catch, but didn't end up getting delayed because that could have happened with the weather going on at that time. But then we were off back to Iowa.